Hi, fourth grade, this is Mr. Piper. I hope that you're well. I hope you were able to see our lesson last week when we cleaned out our recorder and we learned about different types of fipple flutes all over the world, and then we started to blow, get a smooth airstream. That was an extension of some of the work we had done in class on our first 1 or 2 days with the recorder. Today is going to be awesome. We're going to learn 3 notes, all with our left hand on the recorder. So I want you to go get your recorder and let's get ready to play together. All right, so last week we talked about the importance of putting your left hand on top of the recorder. Later on, if you want to switch to a band instrument, they're all made with their left hand on top. So I really want you to double check every time you pick up your recorder and make sure your left hand is on top. One thing I need to talk about before we get started, and this is so important, is how to place our fingers down on the holes of the recorder. I like to say, leaks cause squeaks. Every time you close a hole on the recorder, you press down fairly hard with the soft part of your finger. You need to get the part that you might have on a fingerprint at the police station. I'm going to show some photographs here of my fingers after I press hard on the holes. You should be able to see the small circle indentations. That's where you want to be pressing down. I've had some students who think that we can just tap the hole each time the note's supposed to happen. Remember, that is not going to change the length of the tubing. Our finger needs to stay down for the duration of the note. So practice on your recorder, pressing in, getting little indentations on your fingers. They should look almost like warts, but they'll go away in just a second or two, I promise. See what that feels like with your left hand on top of the recorder. Go! I actually want to start today with thumb and 2 fingers. That's the pitch A. And if we play it, it should sound like this. Remember, we're not going to puff our cheeks. We're going to take about a 1/4 inch of the recorder into our mouth. Can we try like we did last week and go back and forth 4 times with that A note? Here we go. I'll go first. 1, 2, 3, me. You. Were you able to do it? You might have had 1 or 2 misfires. You might have blown too hard or too soft, but that's okay. Think about backing up the video and doing it again a few times until you can get the same smooth attack and smooth sound that I did. Go for it. Pause the video. So for this first tune together, I wrote something called Mystery Notes. I was thinking of like an old detective show or a spy TV show that might have had some exciting music at the beginning. We're going to get our recorder. We're going to cover that thumb hole in the back all the way. Remember, leaks cause squeaks. And then we'll start with 2 fingers down. We're going to alternate between 2 fingers down and 1 finger. I already told you this was A. I wonder if you can take a guess at what this one might be. That would sound like this. Are you able to do it? You might pause the video right now and try that. Did you do it? Did you pause? Now, if we call each one of those a ta, we have ta, 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 5 of them. After that, we're going to put 3 beats of silence. Ta, 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 ta. It'll add up to 8. And we're going to do that pattern 4 times in a row. It would sound like this. going to be tricky to stay with the music, to stay with the backing track, and it's pretty fast, so you'll probably want to practice that. If you get off from the track, you're probably getting off during the rests, not during the notes. Make sure you're tapping your toe or feeling the steady beat somewhere in your body. After you've played that pattern 4 times, we need a break from that. We need to do something else. So we're going to take thumb and 1 finger, and we're going to play 2 long notes. I like to say toe for 4 beats. Toe, toe, like this. Restart the note with a crisp attack using your tongue against the back of your teeth. So again, that's 4 times on our first pattern, 2 long notes, and then we'll wrap up by playing that first pattern again. Why don't you listen to me play it 1 time with the track? Don't play yet, just listen so you can figure out how it all goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you hear that cool chord at the end that reminds you of an old private detective show? Now, it's time for us to play it together. Give it a try. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, were you able to play the Mystery Notes tune? If you weren't able to keep up the first time, that's okay. It might take several days practicing putting our fingers down on the holes and really finding how to get no leaks before we're able to do it. I wonder though if you're able to tell me what the name of that second note was. I told you in the intro that when we cover the thumb hole plus 2 holes, that it's the note A. I also told you in the previous video that when we cover more holes on the recorder, we go down our musical staircase. When we cover fewer holes, we go up our musical staircase. So since we started at A and covered 1 fewer hole, what do you think we would call this one? If you guessed B, you're correct. We've gone up 1 step our musical staircase. But for this next song, we're going to go down our musical staircase. That's tricky. Remember, the musical alphabet goes from A to G and then starts over. So if we start at A and go down, we've crossed over our musical alphabet into the note G. What would it be like to start on the note A and play A, 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 A? That rhythm is ta, ta-dee, ta, with a rest at the end. Again, if you get off from the track, it's most likely because you're not feeling the rests. Make sure you put those rests in there. Can you try that with me? A, 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 A. Get ready with your thumb hole covered and 2 fingers over the top 2 holes. Remember, left hand on top, it sounds like this. Now, what if we take the same rhythm and we go to the note G, covering 3 holes? It would sound like this. Nice job. So I'm going to call this next little song I wrote the A-G Jam. We're going to play the rhythm you just practiced, first on A, then on G. That would sound like this. Remember to leave a rest on beat 4 of each phrase. After that, we're going to play 2 notes of 2 beats each on the note A. That would sound like this. And then in the backing track, you're going to hear the band do 1 more chord. They do it for 4 beats. All together then, the melody is this. Leave the 4 beats at the end for the band to play what's called the turnaround and bring us back to the melody again. Hey, one small note I want to make is that when you're playing a note and you lift a finger, I want it to float right over the hole that you're playing. I find myself in this video kind of exaggerating my finger movements so that you can see which holes I'm pressing down. But for you guys at home, I want your finger to stay nice and close, and I just want it to float above that hole. Practice that a little bit. All right, so are you ready to try the A-G Jam together? Get your recorder. So, you've done an awesome job today. We learned how to cover the thumb hole and the top 2 holes with our left hand, always with our left hand. We learned that this was the note A, and then you guessed, using our Mystery Notes song, that the note above it was called B. We played the A-G Jam, and we got used to what it was like to go between 2 fingers and 3. Now, whenever I teach a new song, I like to teach it by ear first. I'll show you where our fingers go on the recorder, and sometimes I'll use rhythm names, ta and toddy, so that you know how it goes. Remember those rests. The rests are oftentimes the trickiest part in the song. But I also like students to be able to look at the musical notation for each song. So let's talk just a tiny bit about what the musical notation might look like. Our music notation system comes from a choir master a long time ago in Italy who would use his hand to show his students the notes. That's why our treble clef staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. So the note A we learned today is always going to be in the 2nd space up. We count from the bottom. This is space number 1, and this is space number 2. When we played our mystery notes, we played A, B, A, B, A. Can you do that on your hand? Try. A, B, A, B, A. One more time. A, B, A, B, A. Now what about our second tune, the A-G Jam? Well, we're going to put A in the same place once again. But when we go down, we're going to go to our 2nd line. I like to take 2 fingers and slide them in when it's a space note, and then grab them kind of like a lobster claw when it's a line note. The A-G jam went like this. A, G, 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 A. Check it out with the real musical notation. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our video lesson for week 2 of Recorder. We've learned the note A with our thumb and 2 fingers down, and then we learned how to go 1 step up the musical staircase and 1 step down. You learned the song's mystery notes and the A-G jam, first by ear, and then we had an introduction to what they'd look like in musical notation. In the notes for this video, I've placed a link where you can download and print out sheet music for both of these songs. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you'll come back for week 3 of Recorder. We will play the Recorder National Anthem. I'll see you then. Take care.